Thank you, Director Wray, and please pass on all of our respect for what you and your agents and support personnel do. It seems to me you got a pretty full plate. Is that fair to say?
It certainly feels full.
Okay. If Senator Moran's right, which I'm sure he is, when you look at personnel cost increases and generally cost of doing business, most of the increases requested, about 65%, go to that, and 150 million left for new programs. Do you agree with that? New capabilities?
Well, I think sometimes I have a little bit of hard time in this format tracking all the numbers. I think one of the challenges is that last year's budget had a significant number of enhancements, but at the same time also a bunch of reductions to the base. So it's like a giveth one hand, taketh away with the other.
If the committee decided to, say, increase by $100 million your budget, could you spend it wisely?
I can assure you that any money that this committee thinks
Good.
sees fit, I promise it'll be good to good use.
I believe you. So there's a record number in certain jurisdictions, and really a trend all over the country, of retirements by police officers and recruiting problems. Are you familiar with this?
Very much so.
What do you think is causing this?
I think this is a very, very challenging time for the law enforcement.
Have you ever known a more challenging time since you've been in the business?
I have not.
Okay. What can we do to deal with it?
I think it starts with a recognition that it takes an incredibly special person to get up in the morning and put his or her life on the line for a total stranger.
Right.
And then, when you stop and think about how few people are willing to do that, think about how many people are willing to do that every single day for an entire career. And so I think it starts with a level of gratitude and respect for those people.
Is this a fair statement that police reform, I think, is necessary? Better training, better standards, more exposure to departments for the conduct of the officers legally, but at the same time, a deeper appreciation for the job that police officers do. Do you agree that those two things are not inconsistent?
I would agree with that.
Okay, and I hope we can deliver there. In terms of the crime wave that we're facing, increase in murders particularly, the administration is going to announce a 5-point program today to deal with the rise in crime. Were you consulted by the administration in that program?
Well, yes, we're working with the Justice Department through our piece of it. I haven't seen the announcement itself, but we're working.
Do you know what the 5-point plan is?
I don't. I know our part. I don't know
what's
the other
your part?
So we are working with the department on something called Project Safe Neighborhoods, which is a revival of an effort that you may remember from the Bush administration, frankly, and it's a multi-point plan geared towards attacking gun violence all across the country, and so the FBI is working with all of our partners on that.
Do you believe that one of the reasons crime is on the rise is that certain jurisdictions have basically eliminated bail? You catch them on Monday morning and they're out on the streets Monday afternoon.
Well, I do think there are a lot of causes, but I think one of the causes of the violent crime spike are certain kinds of prosecution practices and decreased.
Yeah, we're not prosecuting enough people, and we're sending a signal that maybe you can rob or loot a store and get away with it, and it sort of escalates. Is that fair to say?
Well, I guess I would put it this way. I think there's nothing more disheartening to a law enforcement officer to see somebody that you worked hard to arrest promptly back out committing a crime again.
Yeah,
there's enough people to go after the first time without the same person over and over again.
I totally agree. That's the problem. I hope we'll deal with it. When it comes to Russia, Dark Side is supposedly responsible for the Colonial Pipeline attack, and Revil, R-E-V-I-L, the attack on JBS meat processing attack. Both of these are Russian-speaking criminal organizations. Do you believe it's possible that they could operate in Russia without Putin's government knowing about it?
So many things I'd like to say. Let me
This
put it
is
this
the chance to say it.
Yes, right. Well, let me say this. You'd mentioned Dark Side. The other organization you're talking about goes by the name Our Evil,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
aptly named.
Yeah, that's right.
I think what I would say is this: over and over again,
We're policymakers. I know my time is up. We got to make a decision eventually how to respond to Russia. We've had 2 cyber terrorism attacks emanating from Russian-speaking criminal enterprises. I think all of us believe it's impossible for these people to operate in Russia without some acknowledgement some support by the government, or at least lack of action on their part. We got to make a decision. Would we be irresponsible in assuming that Putin is giving cover to these groups, and the only way things will change is for him to pay a price for giving that cover? Or is that illogical on our part?
I think the Russian government has a lot of room for improvement on this subject. Let me just
Thank
leave
you.
it at that.